Hey everybody, this is Deb up here with my cousin Joy. We decided to do another video for you since you enjoyed the other ones we did so well. Today though, we want to talk about something that has come up in several different advice letters and some stuff I've seen online. And so I want to ask her opinion about it because we had a conversation kind of like this about a year or so ago. And what the topic is giving your man attention, giving him attention and building up his ego. And as you know, a lot of guys expect this. They even say stuff like, well, you know, you don't compliment me. You don't make me feel like a man. You don't build up my ego. And I'm wondering why they feel the need. I mean, why is this our job? Why do we have to do this for them? Why can't they do it for themselves? So we're going to talk about it. We're going to get her opinion. I'm going to share mine. So what do you think?
Well, I personally have experienced this, and that's why we talked about it about a year ago. And I don't see why you need outside validation. I am a very confident person. My confidence comes from within me. I don't really listen too much to what people think about me or what they have to say, because ultimately my strength lies within me. And when you start looking for outside sources to validate you, then you're never going to be whole. You're never going to be secure in life.
I agree. And I think too, our perception of men as being the stronger one is really only limited to their physical muscularity. Emotionally, they are like toddlers. And you know, just looking at everything that they're so freaking needy and insecure about everything. And they suffer, like if you reject them, they just want to hold on to it for 50, 60 years. There's men that are talking about rejection that they suffered in middle school. And I'm like, okay, look, a lot of gray hair on your head. Are you serious right now? But that's how they are, you know? So I'm looking at, okay, if you have somebody whose personality is that dependent on somebody else to make them feel like anything, what is it that we are supposed to be doing with them? I don't know. That shit is exhausting.
Well, your guess is as good as mine there. Because I could not fathom, I could never imagine my needing an outside source to strengthen me,
right,
to validate me, to make me feel as though I'm mighty, because my mightiness lies within me. I am woman, hear me roar.
I think a lot of times though, I think in our family we have, I don't even know where it comes from, but I've just noticed that, like going through life, you know, working in corporate America and stuff, a lot of women are just really grossly insecure. They want to get surgeries and they feel like they can't leave the house unless they look a certain way and everybody has to approve of them. So those kind of women, I think, understand this mentality more. And those of us who, we just have this innate confidence in ourselves, we don't need that from other people, and so we have a real struggle with giving it. But if you're with a man, men seem to really need that. So if you want to have a good relationship with a man, you want to be married and have these nice boyfriends, this nice family, whatever, are we pretty much put in a position where we have to do that if we want him to feel good about being in a relationship with us?
Well, if I need to do that for him to feel comfortable about being in a relationship with me, we don't need to be in a relationship. I think that is just too much. It's placing too much responsibility once again on an outside source. That's something that should be within you. I mean, I do compliment, but if somebody's fishing for me to give them compliments or to say, go get them, tiger, that's something that is not natural for me. So I have to be true to myself first and foremost. And the rest of you ladies, always remain true to yourself. If you find yourself going too far outside of yourself to make somebody else happy, you will not be happy for very long. And there's nothing or anyone worth you sacrificing yourself.
You know what? I first, because I don't know, growing up in my household and being around people, I never heard of this kind of stuff. I never even knew it existed. But at one point when I was still working as a personal trainer, I worked out in the Valley. And it's like the population at that time was like 98% white. And so I had all these clients, middle-aged, young to middle-aged, and even older white females that would come to the gym draped in diamonds and all kinds of, they lived a very nice lifestyle. None of them chicks worked. They trained with me 3 times a week, and it was not cheap, But one thing that I noticed about them is, they always would question me why I was single. Why aren't you single? You're so great, you're so wonderful. And I was like, you just don't even know. And then, but one thing that I noticed that they did a lot with their husbands was they was always complimenting them. And I mean, it was about bullshit. Like, he would pick up his socks. Oh, you're so awesome for picking up your socks. Awesome, that was the word they used. They wore me out. I never heard of that word until I worked out there. Everything that man did was awesome. If he breathed out of his left nostril, it was the most awesomest left nostril breath ever in the face of the planet. And, those men seemed to eat it up. And it afforded those women this kind of lifestyle because they did that, and the men were, doing what they want to do so they could keep getting that validation. So I'm looking at that, and I'm like, well, is this something that Black women would benefit from? No matter how confident we are, is this something that we need to think about doing? If our Black men are that insecure and stuff, is this something that we might have to compromise on?
Well, I think that we would need to, but have limitations on it, because you want to validate who you're with and make them feel good about themselves. But when it comes to a point where they need that validation to feel good about themselves and it's not innate within them, then that's where I think there's a problem. And then you shift from building them up to coddling. And a lot of times, especially I would say people who grew up in affluential environments and families, they were expected to act a certain way, to dress a certain way, and they were told they were great. And this is the birth of narcissism, keep in mind. They were so great because of who their family was or some accomplishment that someone had, some invention, whatever the situation was. And so they grew up thinking that they were special. And so as they got older and they grew away from whoever that family member was, they found out that they were not special on someone else's merits. It's impossible.
Yeah, they're riding the coattails of that last name and that grandfather's. Right, I see what you mean. Yeah. I don't know if that was the case with these particular people. Most of these guys seem to be pretty self-made men. They went through college and, just got a nice career or whatever. But I just noticed that I had just never experienced that kind of fawning over a man for just doing like basic stuff. It's like Black women just don't do that. You want to get some kudos and stuff. Well, what you doing? I actually told one of my boyfriends, well, when you get a Pulitzer Prize or some Nobel Peace Prize or something, then yeah, I'll do all of that. But you just getting up, going to work every day. I go to work every day too, just like you. So what? You gonna be standing around talking about awesome, how awesome you are because I do that? You know what I mean? So what? Does that make me a great Black man too? Because you know what I mean? So I'm like, what in the world? What is it that you're looking for all this applause about when you're just doing basic shit that every man around the world does, which is take care of your family, take care of your house, pay your bills, and go to work?
Well, you just reminded me of a meme that was floating around. And I love to share the memes that have been floating around as Deb and I do this. There was a father talking to his son, and he was telling his son what a man was. And he said, a man takes care of home, they sacrifice for their families, they go to work, they make sure that they provide. And his son says, oh, okay, well, when I grow up, I want to be a man just like mommy.
See, that's what I'm talking about. So, you know, you have all that, and then you have these women, you know, just, I mean, I'm telling you, they must have said awesome 50 times a day.
Yeah.
That's what I just got so sick of that word.
Well, you know, as we spoke about before, it's like on the flip side of men who we call homosexuals. And Deb and I had a conversation, and they are magnificent in the bedroom.
Oh.
And I tell Deb, well, they have to be. They are effing for their lives, literally. And on the flip side, these females are not working. They're pretty much being kept by a man. Even if it is her husband,
Right.
she's still being kept by that man. So there's certain things that she needs to do in order to continue to live that lifestyle. So it kind of goes hand in hand with both of those stories, whether it be male or female. If you're not self-sufficient, you're going to do a lot of sacrificing.
Yeah. For that bag, that's something else that comes up a lot too. But I guess we'll talk about that in another video. But okay, so now we have these men, and they are dependent on, because I mean, okay, wait, let me backtrack. No matter what we think and no matter what we say, men basically get into a relationship with a woman for how she makes him feel. And when you got a guy, all these guys who are basically like empty shells, then if you're the woman who fills him up and makes him feel the best about himself, then that's where he's gonna want to be. Because that's what, you know, it makes him, he lives the fantasy of himself as being Mr. Wonderful. He gets to live it reflected in her eyes. Even though she might just be blowing smoke up his ass and he's not really meaning the words she's saying, she can manipulate him into doing what she wants him to do with these words of praise and stuff that they're so desperate to hear. So I look at all of that, and I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, yes, no, I mean, we want to feel good in a relationship with a man too, right? We want him to make us feel good, not make us feel like we're something he just takes for granted and uses us for housekeeping services and bed winching and all this stuff. But it's like, what is it? You know, what's the limit? What's a healthy amount of this to do if you see that your guy's a little bit shaky? You know, when do you step in and help prop him up? When do you let him just crash and burn and raise up himself? I mean, we got to come up with some guidelines, because a lot of young women looking at these videos, and they're like, you know, hearing all this nonsense from older women telling them that that's what they need to do and that's what they're doing. It's not getting them anywhere though. So there has to be a balance. Like you said, there has to be a balance. But what is the balance? What are some of the things that young women should be looking for to make sure that they aren't over giving or over propping up somebody who's basically useless? That's what I mean. You know what I mean? You know, there's gonna be a guy who's good, who needs a little extra boost now and then, and then there's gonna be those that ain't about nothing, just, you know, sopping up the kudos to feel better about themselves and not really doing anything on their own. What should we be telling them to do or look for or not do, that kind of thing?
Well, I would say if you're in a situation and that man is going through a hard time on his job due to a merger, or the company's been sold and there's an uncertainty there, and you can see it on his face,
right,
the worry, that's a time when you would build him up and say, you know, you're just amazing and there's no way they're going to get rid of you. No way. You've been there too long and you're too good at what you do. So don't even give that any power. You know, and that's something that I normally will say, don't give it power, because, you know, we breathe life in the things that we should not breathe life into, even the useless men. If we're sitting there and we're breathing life into them, but there's no works, there's no actions or deeds, then you're just blowing hot air, because if they're not doing anything to better themselves, to better the environment, their surroundings, their household, it's really a waste of time and energy.
Yeah, I can definitely co-sign on that. And I think a lot of the women, you know, because they feel like they're doing better than the guys that they encounter, even sometimes the ones in their own family, they have this guilt about it, and they feel like they need to like lower their level of accomplishments and lower their assertiveness and lower everything about themselves that would make them a superstar in order to make this guy feel better about his, lack of ability to keep up with them. To me, that's like one of the most disturbing things. It's not like she's overtly putting him down, but because he has low self-esteem and so insecure, feels so threatened by her achievements and her abilities and stuff, he feels bad about his inability to match her. And so that's when it just gets real messed up, and the girls stop being so assertive and powerful because they don't want to, disturb their relationship or disturb their marriage, or they don't want the guy to leave them.
Well, I've witnessed that firsthand, but I'm a little different. I don't believe that I need to bring myself down a few notches to make someone else feel better, and vice versa. I would never belittle anyone and make them feel small to make myself feel larger.
Right.
Because I am who I am, and there's nothing or no one who can take it away from me. So I think it's very important that we remember that whatever power lies within us, it's our power. And if we choose to share what lies within us with someone else, it's normally because we really love that person. But then on the flip side, a lot of times guys get jealous too. It's not just females who get jealous. And I think the worst thing in the world is when you're in a relationship and you see the jealousy come out of that person.
Ooh, that drives me nuts. Ooh.
If some people talk about what they want to do and some people just do it. I'm a doer.
Me too.
My children are go-getters because that's the way I raised them to be. Be confident. If you want something, go get it. You don't have to tell everybody what you want. You can't share your dreams with everyone.
Yeah, they won't buy it in. But not only will they not buy into them, because that's the mistake I made. People wanted to, join in on some of the stuff I was doing that were the actualization of dreams I had. And they were like, oh yeah, that sounds good, but I want to be in on it. They're not like an idiot. I let them do it. And then ultimately it came back to bite me in the butt because, and I learned that lesson the hard way, that nobody can dream your dream but you.
Right. And a lot of times there's people who will try to take your dream and turn it into a nightmare too. So you have to be careful with that as well. Everyone who smiles in your face is not your friend. Some people are there to listen to you just to go back and to gossip about you. So you ladies and you men, be very careful of that, because there's a lot of people who say they're your friends and they want everything you have.
They might even want it, but they don't want you to have it. That's what's real. Okay, on this vein too, let's kind of look at another aspect of this. Oh yes, we're having wine. I have this on the show a lot. When you are with a guy and you're doing some things that are good and great and you're actualizing yourself, what do you do as a woman when you see that this guy is envious of your success? How do you handle that? I mean, you really like the guy. That's what a lot of young ladies really like the guy. But they notice that he makes digs about what they accomplish, or you think you this and that, these little snarky remarks. And it's not really enough. I think a lot of women just kind of are more inclined to blow it off. They don't really take it as anything serious because there's, no bloodshed, they haven't lost any money. They haven't, he hasn't really done anything to them, but it's nasty and it's negative and they feel some kind of way about it.
Well, I would have to use the analogy of a redwood tree. When someone goes to cut down a redwood tree, they chip away at it and they chip away at it, and they'll keep cutting and cutting and cutting in the same spot. And you might not pay attention to it, but over a period of time of being hit in that same spot, that mighty redwood tree, that mighty oak, whatever it is, it will tumble over. So it's very important that you pay attention. I don't say a whole lot. Sometimes I'm more of a kick back and observe type person. I watch everything. I read people's actions. And all the time I'm smiling.
Oh, wait. And she has a smile that's scary. It's scary.
But it's important to pay attention to not only your environment, but the people who you allow into your circle. Because everyone in your circle doesn't mean you good. And without you being able to sit back and observe the situation, you would never know. So being observant is very important.
I agree. And I think also there's a need for young women, well, any women, because it depends on how you were raised, to make sure that you understand that in the relationship, you are the most important one. I'm sorry. It's like, that's so narcissistic. I don't care. It's like if you think of yourself as the most important person in the relationship, not to the point where just being nasty and ridiculous, but just again, if that person is doing the same things that's making you feel, like question yourself, doubt your abilities, think, well, maybe I shouldn't be so great. Or maybe they're embarrassed by me. Maybe I should, not do this and that because it'll make them look bad, something like that. Then that means you with the wrong person. You need to, whoever dude you're with, he should be your number one cheerleader. I mean, out there with the pom-poms and the fireworks and everything. And if he's not, and he's over there sitting over there making snarky remarks and looking stupid, well, I'm just like, you know what? This is not working. And then I be out. That's why I'm the one date queen. And it started with that. I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for this. I'm gone.
I concur. I mean, but not with one date. I think I give people an opportunity to show me who they really are.
They do that in one day. Didn't I tell you about the dude who told me that I should reshape my eyebrows? Girl, that date didn't even make it to order. Because he said that mess to me before. We just looking at the menu. And he's like, you should get your eyebrows done. You should reshape your eyebrows. I like my eyebrows like this. And he told me that, and I said, well, who died and made you? Well, I said some really bad things. But I never, anyway, got up and left. And that was the end of that date.
Well,
we had been there 10 minutes.
I'm confused.
Well, I don't know where, because see, when that thing is like, normally when you first meet somebody, they're like all compliments or something. Even if they think something negative, they're not gonna say it. And on the first date, he started criticizing me.
Oh,
He tell me what I need to change about myself to suit him. That's the way I took it.
I would have told him he needs to change his attitude and whatever makes him think that he can sit and tell me what I should be doing.
I said that along with a couple of MFs and a few other things that kind of rounded that out. And then I got up and left. This was at lunch. We went to the baby change.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I got up and left. And so that's why it's like sometimes, they start off right away. It's like I took it as a test, to see what he was going to get away with. I mean, oh, really? Oh, well, I'll go and do it then later this night. He became every kind of MF I could think of right there in the restaurant. It's like, you're not going to tell me nothing.
Well, a lot of guys do like women like that. And that is a test to see if they can mold you and shape you into the type of women that they like. And I make that plural because any man who does that is not going to have one woman. Yeah. They try to mold women into their expectations of what a woman should be, and then they're free to roam about the country and do it in all states and cities. So, I definitely would not put up with that at all, because if you show me you're an asshole on the first date, then I know you're an asshole. So.
Right. So I don't need date 2 and 3 with no extra phone calls and nothing. But I think it's really a struggle for a lot of young women to have that kind of confidence, because a lot of them go with no boyfriend for a long time, and so they finally get some guy's male attention, and so they want to keep it. That's important. They want to keep the attention. But I'm just like, all attention ain't good attention. Just like all money ain't good money. All jobs ain't good jobs. And all friends ain't good friends. Family, same thing. You got some real things. I'm like, no, I don't know you. I don't know you.
You learn to be very selective.
Yeah, you have to be. And I think a lot of that comes from the confidence and belief in yourself that you deserve better. And if you don't think that you deserve better, you settle for any kind of knucklehead that comes along, criticizing you, that you need to build up because he's so weak and, don't have any confidence in himself, and use all the energy and time that you would have spent, moving yourself along. You got to circle back and prop him up and drag him along with you.
I think that's the jealousy thing that I was talking about. They do that for a purpose so that a woman does start catering to them and forget about her wants, needs, desires, and her aspirations. And before you know it, everything in your life is all about them, and you won't even know what happened. A lot of women don't even know how it got to that point or what happened. But that's exactly how.
I wish I would. Well, this has been a very interesting conversation, you guys. It's, just one of many that we're going to offer to you, because I'm up here all the time. I practically lived here one summer. But we have some other topics that we're going to be addressing too. But I just wanted to give you this over the holiday weekend. So I hope you enjoy it. We'll be back on Tuesday with WTF Tuesday advice.
One thing I'd like to say, food for thought. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Ooh, toast. See you guys later. If you enjoyed that content, there's plenty more where that came from. There's almost 700 videos on the Debstrism channel at this point, with more every week. We do live streams twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, and often on the weekend as well, plus regular uploads on various aspects of male-female romantic relationships that help not only you better your relationship, but help you better yourself. I hope you hit that subscribe button, hit that instant notification bell so that you get a notice when I decide to just pop up and do a show, which I do very often. Thank you for watching.